Hi there, Jean Greer here at Stylish Fireplaces. Today I want to talk to you about linear on-wall electric fireplaces. So those are the long, slim electric fireplaces that are mounted on the wall surface rather than being inserted into the wall cavity. So you would do that occasionally in condos, sometimes in a home if you just didn't want any construction, or maybe it's an exterior wall and that's the only place you could put the electric fireplace, and there really isn't anywhere to go into the wall surface, into the wall cavity, and you don't want to build out a structure to put the fireplace into. So then you would end up with a fireplace that you can mount on the wall surface. So I guess there's a couple of things you should know about that. Not all linear fireplaces, or all electric fireplaces for that matter, are designed to be on the wall surface. Most are actually designed to be inserted into some sort of cavity or cabinet or cabinetry, and they're not necessarily designed with a surface mount in mind. So that means they're not going to have the hardware available to allow you to do that. So you really have to think about, are you getting the right type of fireplace with the right kind of mounting? So the ones that I'm standing next to here do allow for surface mounting. In this case, they can do either or. And these days, that's more often the case, that the major manufacturers anyway will design something that can be in the wall or on the wall, and usually there's also an option for a semi-flush, meaning partially in, partially out, if you've got a depth limitation and you can go part of the way into your wall. So let's just talk about the differences here. So this one up here, which is a Napoleon Entice, just as an example, can be semi-flush. So I could mount into a 4-inch cavity and I leave this trim piece on. Or I can remove this trim piece and mount into a 6-inch cavity, or I can put it entirely on the surface, which is what we've done in our showroom. We've had this stone wall built and we've mounted our fireplaces to the wall. So this is designed to be surface mounted, and all the hardware I need and the design of the unit is made with that in mind. Likewise with this older model that has the bigger glass boundary around the window where the fire is. This is an older style. You don't see this as much anymore. People are looking for this slimmer profile without a lot of glass around it. But if you have something like this, then there's a little more overhang on the front, and the back isn't quite as large as the front is. So there's a little bit of overhang so that you don't see the sides as obviously. So things to think about when you're doing a surface mount: you're going to have a cord, you're going to have to plug it in somewhere. Here in our display, we haven't tried to hide the cords, we haven't done any direct wiring here, so that you can really see you've got a 6-foot black cord that you need to run to your receptacle, and these will be on a cord with a plug, and it's perfectly okay to plug them in. But you need to be thinking about, where is that cord going to run? Where's the nearest outlet? Am I going to like to see that cord? Is there any way I can hide it? The way around that would be to do a direct wire, where we remove the cord from the unit and we take our cable from our wall and we connect it directly to the unit. And that allows us possibly to have the cable for the electricity coming out of the wall right where the power on the unit is, connect the two, and then there's just a little short piece of cable that might be visible. But you don't always have that option. So if you're going to have to plug it in using the cord that comes with it, just think about where that cord's going to be, how visible is it, how far does it have to go to the receptacle. A lot of these units will come with some sort of a cord cover, and you could certainly buy a cord, a channel, at any of the building stores, and then just paint that out to match your wall, and that's a good fix as well. But just be aware that you are going to see the cord. The other thing you're going to see is the side or the end panel of the fireplace, and the slimmer the profile on the front and the less frame there is around it, the more you're going to be able to look to the side panels. And if that's okay, if you're standing in front of the fireplace, you really don't see that. But if you are entering your room and staring right at the end panel of that fireplace, think about what that's going to look like. Are you going to be happy with that? Some manufacturers will actually give you an end plate to put over those screws and things so that it's a nice neat finish. So yes, you see it, but it's neatened up, it's tidied up, so you're not staring at those screws and little ventilation holes, and in this case there's a handle. So if you don't want to see that, then you need to be thinking about how you're going to situate the fireplace so that those aren't as visible, or is there a way that you can cover them up? And then other than that, you're really just, it's a very straightforward, no construction type of installation. You're going to have a back panel, either a plate of metal or a very thin sort of metal rail that's going to screw into the wall. And you're going to find studs behind the wall so that you have something very secure, concrete, something like that, that you're going to secure that metal piece to. Once it's secure, it can handle the weight of the fireplace, and then the fireplace just hooks onto that metal plate or that metal bracket, and then it's suspended and you're good to go. So it's a very easy type of installation for DIY. It's something you can kind of add at the last minute to a project if you're thinking, wow, we should have thought about a fireplace, let's put one there. How do we do that? These days, all of the fireplaces that we carry are pushing the heat out the front plate, so there's never an issue with heat blowing up onto a TV, whether it's in the wall or on the wall. Certainly all of these fall into that category, so you shouldn't have to worry about heat coming off the top of the fireplace. That was something that may have been done when these on-wall fireplaces were first developed years and years ago, and then everyone realized the TV was going to be above it. Nobody wanted the heat at the top, and they just don't exist, at least not in the brands, the major brands that we carry, because nobody will buy them. It just doesn't work. So the heat is pushing out the front, it's pushing out into the room, it's not blowing up onto the TV. So just like with an in-wall linear, these on-wall linear fireplaces are perfectly safe to have below your TV. There's no real rules about how high to mount them, other than it's always better to be looking down into the flames. And then you just want to manage the height of your TV and work the fireplace in accordingly. So just as you would with any of the fireplaces that we would put into a wall. So that's it. These are linear on-wall electric fireplaces. You can find them at stylishfireplaces.ca. If you shop by style, you'll see on-wall linear fireplaces.